Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm the two-wheel teacher, and today I'm hanging out at Tallahassee Harley-Davidson doing a head-to-head comparison of two iterations of what might be Harley-Davidson's most iconic model, the Softail Fatboy. Let's check them out. So the Harley-Davidson Fatboy was enshrined in Americana history because of its appearance in the Terminator movies. Those movies set up the Fatboy model to be the most recognizable Harley-Davidson model possibly to date. But starting in 2018, the Harley-Davidson Fatboy got a makeover, where they shifted from the classic Fatboy look to something more modern, more aggressive, and a bit more controversial. Let's take a closer look at each of these bikes, take them out on the road, and see which one we like most.
There are 7 model years that separate these two bikes, so we can expect variations on virtually every point of design, especially considering that the 2018 is from the newer generation of Fatboys, and for that generation of bikes, Harley-Davidson completely redesigned the frame. The 2011 has a 96 cubic inch twin cam, and the 2018 has a 107 cubic inch Milwaukee 8. The front end of the bikes is where we can find the greatest aesthetic differences. Although they both have wider front ends and wider forks, the way the cowl is set into the forks and incorporated into the risers makes the 2018 look more sleek and more imposing at the same time. Both bikes have the now classic solid wheels, which are a signature part of the Fatboy build. You're not going to find any spokes here. Apart from the engine guard mounted on the 2011 and some powder coating, everything I've mentioned so far comprises the majority of differences between these two bikes, and weirdly enough, those handful of differences are enough to make these two bikes look really different. And yet to my eye, they're both very much Harley-Davidson Fatboys. The real differences are going to come out once we get them on the road, so let's start them up and see how they ride.
Alright, 2011 Harley Fatboy in this gorgeous light blue. Really neat color that you don't see a ton of, especially on some of Harley's newer bikes. This sort of shade of paint isn't super popular at the moment, but I don't know, I think it looks great. First thing you notice when you sit down on this Fatboy is it is super comfortable. The handlebars and the grips sit exactly where I would expect them to sit. I'm sitting them nice and tall. These forward controls aren't so far forward that I'm kind of bent into myself. They sit right where I would want my feet to go, so really comfortable seating position. I'm sitting at a red light, and I got the front brake on, and front brake off, front brake on. The vibration is really minimal. One of those first things you notice when you sit down on a bike and start it is how much vibration is being communicated through the frame and the handlebars, and it's not a lot. This is, like I said before, quintessential Harley-Davidson in the look, in the sound, in the ride. Really comfortable rig. All the controls are really smooth. This clutch is like butter. The throttle response is great. The gear shifts are seamless. The riding experience is really pleasant. This is very clearly a go down the road bike. I think throw a windshield on this thing, and it's got the quick detach mounts on the front, so you throw a windshield on this thing and you've got your highway bike right here. Feels good, feels planted, feels really stable. This is a big bike, but it doesn't feel like a big bike. Even with the bigger tires, I know a lot of people get a little nervous about maneuverability on these really big fat tires in front and back, but that's really not an issue at all.
Alright everybody, so I just got home and sat down to start editing this video, and unfortunately I found that my audio was not captured from my camera. Must have just been a technology issue, I'm not really sure. But regardless, since I did just go on this ride, I do know what I thought between the two bikes and sort of where my conclusions landed after I got a chance to ride both of these Fatboys. And here's my experience from the 2018 Fatboy. Let's talk ergonomics. Number one, sitting down on the 2018 after having sat down on the 2011, I didn't notice really any significant differences between the comfort of either motorcycle. They both had, the stock footboards and foot controls. They both had the stock handlebars. They both had the stock seat. There were some differences because of the frame differences between the 2018 and the 2011, but as far as the dimensions go of how it feels to sit on the bike, they feel virtually the same. The big differences that I found between the 2018 and the 2011, after having ridden the 2011 already, is the biggest difference. Number one is just looking down and looking in front of you when you're on the 2018. You've got that great big cowl in front of you where the headlight is housed, and so that's a very different visual to have to look at. The 2018 does have a set of Vance & Hines short shots, 2 into 2 on it, so it did sound significantly different from the 2011, which still had the stock pipes on it. But really, as aesthetically, other than that, there really were no significant differences between the two motorcycles. That's aesthetically speaking. Let's talk about performance though, because that 107 Milwaukee 8 is just a bitey motor. If you've seen any of my reviews from any of the other bikes that have a Milwaukee 8 in them, you'll know that I am a massive fan of the Milwaukee 8 because I think everything that Harley did to build and create that motor it took every aspect of the engine's performance up a notch over, what they accomplished with the twin cam. Even compared to the 110 cubic inch twin cam, the Milwaukee 8 is just bitier. It's got more torque down at the bottom. Changing through the gears, you could feel more power as you were matching revs and getting gear to gear. And the fact of the matter is, the Milwaukee 8 is just a better motor. So the real differences between these two bikes are just the aesthetics and the design outwardly of the motorcycles, and the fact that the Milwaukee 8 it's got more guts. And if I had to choose between a Milwaukee 8 or even a 110 cubic inch twin cam, I'm going to go for a Milwaukee 8 every single time.
There you have it, everybody. That's my review, my test ride, and my head-to-head comparison of a 2011 Fatboy and a 2018 Fatboy. What do you guys think of these two bikes? Do you prefer the old look, or do you prefer the newer design? Let me know down in the comments. And until next time, I'm the Two-Wheel Teacher, and I'll see you on the road.